ride. Bulls and bears tango, markets collide. Digital Picasso painting wealth on a screen. My portfolio's a jazz riff, slick and serene. Good morning, crypto, the future's alive. Riding this wave, digital dive. From Bitcoin to Ether, I'm stacking my dough. BC Port Corp, I'm the star of the show. Wallet on fire, it's a blockchain blaze. Private keys locked up, vaults for days. Mining these coins, I'm the digital prospector. Every transaction's a jazz band connector. NFT spinning like a vinyl record. Rare art, rare beats, value detected. Flipping these assets, my hustle supreme. Crypto jazz freestyle, living the dream. Markets dance, unpredictable swing. Fortunes made with the keyboard fling. Rug pulls lurking, gotta stay sharp. Play the long game, crypto's my harp. The future's alive. Riding this wave, digital dive. From Bitcoin to Ether, I'm stacking my dough. BC Port Corp, I'm the star of the show. NFT spinning like a vinyl record. Rare art, rare beats, value detected. Flipping these assets, my hustle supreme. Crypto jazz freestyle, living the dream. Markets dance, unpredictable swing. Fortunes made with a keyboard fling. Rug pulls lurking, gotta stay sharp. Play the long game, crypto's my harp.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I have one headline I'd really like to talk about. That's going to be some CPI data. But before we get into all of that, I went live just a little bit early. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what we saw happen in America yesterday. I've seen quite a bit of division happening online. I've seen a lot of nasty comments online. I put a quote out this morning in the Piper Academy Discord. It touches on the thoughts of Voltaire. It's talking about how I may disagree with your thoughts, but I will defend to the death your right to say them. No one should have to die for their thoughts, even though they're different than yours. And in America and a lot of Western countries, we have seen the divide getting bigger and bigger. And at the end of the day, we're all just human. And these small differences that really make up no important, no big divide that actually take away nothing from the fact that you're human, that you just have a different belief system, that you just think that the way to get to something, the end goal that we all want to see, should not mean that anyone has to die for that. We all want the same goal. We all want to be living in harmony. And at the end of the day, the way to get there might be a little bit different than the way that you think it should be done. And no one needs to die for that. And we need to get back to thinking that this is my fellow human being and that this person deserves the right to succeed and live and flourish just as much as I deserve that right to succeed, be able to say what I want, and flourish in a world where everyone comes together to succeed together. So that was just some of the thoughts that I kind of had. I hope that his family is doing okay, and I hope that this doesn't destroy what Charlie Kirk was building, the ability to come together and sit down with your fellow human and just have a discussion, whether you agree with their opinions or you disagree with their opinions, because we need to be able to have a discussion at the end of the day, and free speech matters. So thank you for listening to that, but I really felt that this conversation needed to happen. Let's dive on into some of this and get you prepped for some success today, because we are seeing some moves in the charts. So we are seeing a little bit of some downside and some upside this morning. We've got Apple sitting 0.64% towards the upside after a giant move towards the downside yesterday. Got 3.23% towards the downside off of its close and sitting up 0.66% this morning. We've got Nvidia sitting up 3.85% from its close and continuing on that upside this morning, up 0.21% right now. We got Berkshire Hathaway looking a little bit to the upside after a little bit of some downside movement yesterday, up 0.19. We've got Amazon sitting up 0.76 this morning. Eli Lilly seeing a little bit of some downside today, down 0.29%. We've got ExxonMobil also sitting a little bit to the downside, looking like we're seeing a little bit of some risk on. We are seeing ExxonMobil down 0.1%. Tesla sitting to the upside 0.88. We've got P&G up 0.08. We've got Microsoft sitting up 0.25. Google sitting up 0.19. And we've got Meta sitting up 0.37. I'm seeing Jesse saying take a look at Mantle. We can definitely take a look at Mantle this morning. We did have a successful trade as a community. We were taking a look at Bitcoin yesterday, and it got up exactly to our levels. So let's dive into the crypto side of things. We're seeing quite a bit of green on that daily, but that hourly is getting a pullback on a majority of these assets right now. We've got Bitcoin up 1.4%. We've got Ethereum sitting up 1.9%. XRP sitting up 1.6%, BNB sitting up 1.6%, we've got Solana up 1.8%, we've got Dogecoin sitting up 3.5% right now, Tron taking a spot in that market cap from Cardano, sitting up 2.4%, while Cardano is up 0.7%. Chainlink sitting up 1.2. We've got Hyperliquid seeing a little bit of some downside. I did talk about the other day when we took a look at Hype. Hype is extremely overbought. It has been seeing those strong moves towards the upside while the rest of the market was seeing some downside. So to see it have a little bit of downside, not too unexpected. We do have Sui sitting up 2.1%, Stellar Lumens up 3.9%. We got Avalanche taking some spots in the market cap, sitting up 8.2% right now. We've got Bitcoin Cash sitting up 2.6%. We've got HBAR up 2%. We might have to take a look at that HBAR chart again. We've got Litecoin up 3.1% and Leo token losing a spot from Litecoin in that market cap, sitting up 0.1%. we are sitting extremely neutral on the stock side for that fear and greed, and the crypto side getting a little bit closer to that greed. We are holding some key levels we had talked about yesterday. We will really have to see if we can maintain the bottom side of our CME gap and push back up to really clear out all of that top side liquidity and then make a decision from there. Right now we're still sitting neutral, 54, up 5 points from yesterday. On this liquidation heat map, we do have a little bit of liquidity directly above us, sitting at $115,000 for that top side liquidity. Zoom this on out a little bit further here. We do have this 3-day with that liquidity sitting at $115,000. So a lot of liquidity directly towards the upside of us on the shorter term time frame. And if we can get a favorable CPI print, then we can really continue towards the upside here. Let's take a look at that 2-week. That 2-week does show that broad range of liquidity towards the upside. We have came up and cleared out a little bit of that liquidity that we were talking about yesterday. That was starting at that 113,400. That was the bottom side of our CME gap. Came in here, cleared out a little bit of that liquidity, and we've still got a little bit more to go up and grab. Let's zoom that on out to the 1 month so you can see that just a little bit better. Jesse having some fun in the chat. We will get to everyone sitting in the chat here in just a second here. We are moving quite sideways here. We do have a little bit of liquidity way down here at that $90,000 mark. I don't think we go and grab that unless we really see something a little bit drastic on the charts. But you can see this higher term time frame looking a little bit nice for a move towards the upside if we can continue to clear out the shorter time frame liquidity and then get that move back towards the upside. Taking a look at that 3-month, that 3-month will really show you that there's not a whole lot of liquidity in this range anymore, and that would allow us to really get that strong move back towards the upside. Let's take a look at that economic calendar, because we do have a hot data drop this morning at 8:30. So be prepared for a little bit of some volatility this morning. We've got that core inflation rate month over month looking at 3%. 0.3% for that month over month. That year over year looking to hold steady at 3.1%. Scrolling on down, we got that inflation rate month over month and year over year looking like a little bit of a heat up on that year over year, coming in prior 2.7%, looking at 2.9% for the forecast, and that month over month was 0.2% prior and looking at 0.3% for the forecast. So keep our eyes on both of these data drops. They will be the big catalyst for a rate cut decision, and they will be the big market mover for the morning. Make sure to tune in to that morning market report at 10 a.m. and we will kind of see if that helps with our rate cut chances, or if it hinders it just a little bit to see inflation taking its head back up. Will really put a damper on a 50 basis point rate cut. I know a lot of people have been talking about that, but this is that big data drop along with that PPI that could really have put a hamper on it. PPI came out a little bit soft yesterday, and to see that move on over to the inflation rate, the consumer side from July's very hot PPI print would not be too unexpected. That is why forecast is a little bit higher than the prior one. Scrolling on down just a little bit further, we do have some auctions coming out on some bills as well. We'll be paying attention to how heavily those get bought up to really see if we have that true risk on environment. Let's hop on over to that Bitcoin chart zooming on out to that daily and then say good morning to the people in the chat. I did see a few people sliding on in at the end. Let me get that zoomed on out. We got Celephant sliding in here. Oh, it starts at 1:30. No, I started a little bit early, Celephant. I wanted to talk about what happened in the U.S. yesterday. It was extremely heartbreaking to see, and I just wanted to put a few thoughts out on it and kind of do my part to close some of the divide. I know I don't get a massive viewership, but I definitely feel that people need to take up the mantle that we just saw snuffed out yesterday. The division that we've been seeing is absolutely atrocious. For arbitrary divisions, people's race, people's politics, people's thought processes do not deserve to be wiped out just because someone has a differing opinion, is of a different race, is of a different mindset. So just went a little bit early to touch back on that. Steve Hickey said he missed it. Well, it's back there at the beginning. You can go back and watch it a little bit later, or you can go back, watch it now, and put it on that 2X and hear some BC on some 2X. But let's scroll on up. We got Jay first in the chat. He beat out Jesse this morning, but I went live a little bit earlier. So Jesse was probably ready for that going live right about now, because that's normally when I go live. So we got Dylan VA in here as well. We got K Diggity saying that song was fire. I went with a nice calm song this morning, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Jay saying he needed some more caffeine. Yeah, I'm on my second one this morning, so prepping for some success. We got Dylan VA in here. Good morning, or good afternoon. I know you are on the other side of the world. We got the Dusty Hunt in here. Good morning, people, he said. Well, good morning to you, sir. Jesse Gluck saying, rip Charlie Kirk. Most definitely. I hope his family is doing all right. Thoughts and prayers to everyone surrounding him. A lot of people will be affected by this death. K Diggity saying 10,000% BC. I appreciate that agreement there. Mantle, got that on the list. Scrolling on down, Steve Hickey in here. Good morning. Celephant sliding on in. We got TM in the chat. Good morning to you. We got Melissa in here as well. Good morning. Glad to see you in here. BC up since 1 a.m. On the charts. Well, yeah, that Alaska time, you were up extremely early. I got up at about 3:45 my time, so slept in just a little bit, and then was ready to hit some charts. I'm on my second round of caffeine, so definitely getting prepped. We are seeing this daily chart getting that next bit of curvature towards the upside. We did talk about that. If we could see that green money flow really start bleeding into this higher term time frame, then we could get that nice curvature on our MACD that would really push us back towards the upside, and the prime oscillator as well. Well, that's exactly what we got yesterday. We got that move back up towards our top side of our golden pocket fib extension here. That was our take profit on our trade yesterday. We entered down here. We got that nice strong move up. TP1 was at 13,500 and that TP2 was at 14,300. Hit both of those, got that nice little wick in action on our TP2, and we were out of the trade in the morning. So a nice quick trade for yesterday. I was expecting things to go up. I was not expecting things to go up as quick as they did yesterday. So a nice successful trade. Anyone that took that with me, sitting on some profits. We got DDT in here. I'm late. Good morning, fam. Good morning to you, DDT. Glad you made it. Let's dive on into the shorter term time frame, because we do have a little bit to talk about here on this Bitcoin chart. We've got Celephant asking for some Ethereum. She brought up Serve Robotics as well. Well, we can take a look at that. a favorite of mine. I've been loading my bags up when we're sitting at these low prices here. As you can see on this 4 hour, we are seeing a little bit of some toppiness here. I would like to see us hold this CME gap bottom. That's coming in at $13,500. That's going to be that support area I really want to see Bitcoin hold, especially with this CPI inflation data coming out today. If it does come out favorably, it could really get that strong move back up towards the upside here and close out the CME gap, that top side coming in at 16,900. It's a little bit short of that, but I'm going to round it on up just a little bit there. Really comes in at $16,850. So that's that big move towards the upside we are really watching for. If that CPI inflation data comes out favorably, this curvature here that we're seeing on MACD could really be negated here. It is coming in a little bit sideways, so we could really get that nice little curve and curve back towards the upside there. Money flow is looking extremely green here on the 4 hour. We are getting some curvature on the prime oscillator, but we're really just waiting on this data drop. So we'll kind of have to see if that comes out favorably. Forecast is a little bit hotter, so if it does come out a little bit hot, dropping out of the CME gap and looking back down to 11,800 would not be too unexpected. That'd be that nice strong support area to really keep our eye on to the bottom side, especially since we're seeing that nice heavy curvature on the MACD and the prime oscillator. Let's take a look at this 1 hour here. 1 hour looking no different on how toppy everything is. We did get that high that wicked our TP2 and then a secondary higher high here, and that MACD and prime oscillator started cooling off on that secondary higher high. That gave us that bearish divergence here and could really be a catalyst for some downside action if that inflation data comes out a little bit high here. So we do have some areas to the downside to keep our eye on, but if that inflation data comes out favorably, looking back towards the upside and not too unexpected, and we could create another bearish divergence here that really stacks things up and then really get that stronger move towards the downside going into some Friday. We got Caliphant talking about H bar. And then we can try to look for a trade to take together as well. Let's take a look here at this 15-minute. This 15-minute looking nice and cooled off as we're approaching the bottom side of that CME gap. This man sounds like a classic lecture. I just have that nice calm voice in the morning, you know. I'm not trying to like yell in your ears about the price action, but I'll just try to keep that voice nice and calm, so I can get a little more excited about it. Talk about some Bitcoin using too much energy, and you could really get me going there. But trying to keep things nice and calm, not trying to yell in your ears first thing in the morning. We do have that MACD breaking below our zero line here, but that prime oscillator getting that nice little bit of some curvature here with that reversal signal flashing and that money flow going into the red. But we could really see that price holding up at $13,500 here, and that would give us that nice little move up towards our midline here, coming in at $15,200. That's that next little area I would look for a target on the shorter term time frame. So if we do hold that price up, make that next higher low here, and we do see some money flow coming back in, could really get that move back up to $15,200. That's that next price point to watch for on the shorter term time frame. We do have a lot of toppiness on that higher term time frame, and we're really looking for that CPI print to get that move on the charts this morning. Let's hop back over to that economic calendar, see if we got some moves to really make off of that CPI data. I want to scroll back up towards the upside here because that's what we were watching for this morning. We do have that CPI data that came in a little bit hot last time, was 3.1% from a move in the 2% range, inflation heading in the wrong direction, and this could really, really put a hamper on the market. I know a big name in the investing sector came out with a video talking about how with a rate cut, a lot of people could lose some money because that would be the end of the bull market, not just in crypto, but on your traditional side as well. Everyone's been making money for the past 4 years. He came out with a video where he had a monkey pick out some stocks, and those stocks are 34% towards the 34% towards the upside off of the past 4 years. So he's doing better than some hedge funds. And to see that kind of end with inflation going towards the upside and cheaper borrowing costs as they try to have debt hold up the system could be the catalyst that really ends this nice period of time that we've seen. And that's why you've seen a lot of people flocking to gold. Could probably take a look at that gold chart here in a second, but you've seen people flocking to gold, back to some bonds and some safety. So definitely watching this inflation data. We are seeing that 0.2% prior on that month over month on the inflation and 0.3% on that forecast. Would like to see it come in under that to see inflation heading in the right direction. We have been seeing a lot of these countries that have already started their rate cutting cycle before us have their inflation heading back towards the upside. So they were heading back towards the upside, took a little bit of a pause like we did. They started their cheaper borrowing costs, and then they started seeing inflation really head back towards the upside with some strength. The UK has been in that position. You have a bunch of countries in the European Union heading back towards that upside on inflation. So this is why I really want to keep my eye on the CPI and the PPI. So that's basically what I wanted to touch on that. We had a few alt requests to really get into. I didn't have a news article on the CPI. I just kind of wanted to touch on it. So let's get into some of these charts. We had Mantle, Ethereum, Serve, and HBAR. We got any other requests to go over this morning. A little chill is nice in my opinion. Well, I appreciate that, K Diggity. We got good vibes always, says Melissa. Damn, that money is doing better than me and my mom's old investment advisor. Yeah, that monkey. Yeah. I was surprised because he came out with that video a while ago and then he retouched on it and Jesse saying, "Can I let a monkey pick out my cryptos?" Hey, I mean, it might have done well at the beginning of the cycle. You just would have had to, rotate out when we saw those all-time highs on Bitcoin back in 2024. But then you would have been sitting on some nice Bitcoin profits. But yeah, he had a whole video where he had a monkey pick out some stocks. It was quite entertaining to watch. He's like holding up pieces of paper for him to like pick what stock to go off of, and then he bought the stocks and he was sitting up 34.5% on his stock picks. And that's basically what anyone can do in a bull market. Everyone looks like a genius because everything's going up towards the upside. You have cheap borrowing costs that allows debt to really flow everywhere, and then you see it come crashing down when you have a catalyst that really sends things to the bottom, like inflation going up with cheaper borrowing costs and people trying to hedge that safety. I've got to find that video. Well, let me see if I can find it in the background. It's a very big YouTuber. I'm sure you've heard of his name. I believe I follow him. Let me see. Here we go. Let's see. Graham, Stefan, and Monkey. Here we go. Let me get that shared on up with you. Yeah, it is this video right here. I spent $100,000 on a stock picking monkey. So I will get that clip shared with you here. It is quite a funny video. I follow Graham Stefan. He's a very good YouTuber. He's been doing this for quite a while. And then he came out with the follow-up of that. So a little bit of some warnings there. that he's had on his $100,000 monkey pick video. So K Diggity saying that's a good video. Yeah, it was a very good video. I was quite surprised that he let a monkey pick some stocks like that. But it really showed that anyone in a bull market can make some money. But then when the bull market starts to end, you really need to hedge with some safety. And he came out with a video quite recently talking about hedging with some safety. So go out. You might want to check out that video because Graham Stephan has some very good views on how to invest. He's dropped a little less videos recently, but they've been some quite amazing videos. We got Iko sliding in here. Good morning there, Piper fam. Hope all have a wonderful day. Well, we hope you have a wonderful day too, Iko. We're getting prepped for some success today. We're about to take a look at a few alt request and one stock request. I didn't see any other request here this morning, so we'll take a look at some Ethereum first because I had that pulled up yesterday. We did talk about wanting to see us maintain above this 4,210. We got that move back up towards our resistance area at 4,000, almost $500 there. And we're really waiting to see if that CPI data gets us that move back up towards our resistance there. All right, that's that next real area to kind of watch for. We're getting some curvature here on the shorter term time frame, but this daily still looking quite nice here as we did make that higher low off of our support at 4,210, really waiting to get back up towards resistance, see if we can turn that into some support. That'd be our next higher low to really watch for, and then we could make our way back up towards that platinum pocket area, coming in at $4,673. That's what we're really watching for some Ethereum. Ethereum has not been able to get above that and hold it as some support. We did get that up here where we got above our platinum pocket after this big body green candle here, came back down towards that platinum pocket, retested on it, lost our strong area of resistance, and dropped back down with some strength there to retest on $4,210. We're getting that nice little bit of some curvature here, and we're really waiting to see what happens at that resistance at $4,500. That'll be that next area to really watch. Money flow sitting nice and green here on the daily, not overly green, but still coming in with some inflows as we see some nice consolidation in this range here. We're getting back up towards some resistance, but that MACD and prime oscillator both prepping for some moves towards the upside here as you see that prime oscillator switch from heavy red to some light red here. So we will want to watch to see what happens on the shorter term time frame as we approach that resistance, see if we can get that shorter term time frame money flow really bleeding into that higher term time frame and get this money flow that was sitting as some nice green money flow to make its way back towards the upside there. That's kind of what we're watching on that money flow for Ethereum. We want to see that coming in from the shorter term time frame and really bleed into that higher term time frame here. Hourly is looking a little bit toppy, so to see a little bit of some pullback here in the morning, not too unexpected. Retest some of these highs here at about $4,380. That'll give us a nice strong move back towards the upside there, with a little bit of some cool off on the shorter term time frame. 15-minute looking quite similar to how Bitcoin's was, but not as cooled off as that money flow is starting to come back in here. Got that prime oscillator moving a little sideways, MACD moving a little bit of sideways here as well, starting to print those lighter red candles here on the histogram, and we're trying to see if that price gets that curvature back towards resistance here. Could definitely see that coming on in, but we do have that very, very strong resistance to get above and break and turn into some support. So that's kind of what I'm watching for on Ethereum. We do have plenty of resistance towards the upside. Higher term, that hourly and 4-hour looking a little bit toppy, but that inflation data this morning could be the catalyst that gets us above our resistance and turning it into some support to make our way back up to $4,600. All right, we had Mantle requested. Let's get that one pulled on up here. MNT for Jesse. I don't think I have that on my list anywhere, but let's scroll it on down. Find Mantle. No, Mantle on. Let's see. There we go. There it is. Getting up to that 1618 on a golden pocket there. All right, let's take a look at that higher term time frame there. We did have this drawn out, and that was that next real area to target. We could see a little bit of some pullback there. BC, do you know karate? BC, do sumo? No, I actually did a little bit of judo back in high school. I was a wrestler. So judo was my combat sport, and had a lot of fun throwing people around. It's been a while since I've thrown some people around though, but I did karate as like a 3-year-old, and then later in life did judo. So wrestling was my combat sport. Had a lot of fun with that. Aiko saying that's cool. Yeah. Sumo would be fun, but I also don't want to get that heavy because those men have a very short life, and that doesn't seem like the kind of life I want to live. You know, they are pampered for a while, and then the pampering, I don't think it makes up for the very shortened lifespan, because those men have knee problems, they got a lot of health problems, and they're really pampered for a while, but then it's a very, very short lifespan, and you can't do sumo for very long because of how big you are. So really waiting to see a Mantle kind of turn that $1.50 range into some strong support. Seeing it pull back, not too unexpected here. Daily is looking a little bit toppy. If we do see this kind of topping on out, we'd make a higher high, but a lower high here on that MACD, and that prime oscillator coming in a little bit even, but that would definitely be a little bit of some divergence there. So keep our eyes on some lower price points there. We are sitting a little bit below our golden pocket, our 1618 golden pocket extension there. So that's been a little bit of some resistance. That was that next target we were talking about for Mantle. Now we're looking for that $1.50 range to be turned into some support. Seeing us on that lower time frame. We are seeing a little bit of sideways momentum coming in here on the prime oscillator. We're yet to see that curvature here on the 4-hour for that MACD, but could very, very quickly see that coming on in if that CPI data doesn't come out favorably. As you can see here, that prime oscillator moving a little bit sideways, and we're really waiting to see if it gets that curvature back towards the upside, or if that prime oscillator continues on towards the downside with some downside price action. So that 150 be in that area we were really watching for before that golden pocket fib extension there. You can see it came in sorry about that. You can see it came in very briefly as some resistance, and then we got that nice strong move back above it, and have yet to really test that as some support. That 150 being an area that we were watching from those old all-time highs on Mantle. So 150, an area I would really like to see turned into some strong support, because we've never done that before. 150, a very strong area of some interest there. 1 hour seeing that toppiness as well. MACD getting that curvature back down. Prime oscillator also getting some curvature here as it's pointing towards the downside. So really waiting to see what that money flow brings our way this morning as we see that CPI data. We could really get back above that one. We could really get above this 1618 here, coming in at $1.66. Turn that into some support. And then we'd have to draw a new fib extension to really see what levels to look for between here and that 2618 coming in at $2.11 there. Let's see what that 15-minute is looking like and what the morning might be bringing our way here, making that lower high here, waiting to see if we can hold this area below us at $1.58. That'd be that short-term price point to really watch for price action this morning. We did get a bounce off of it already, but if we lose that, that would be a lower high, and we could really come back down to $1.50 there. World famous, oh, it'd be a lot of fun. We'll pull back on the weekly if I'm right, says Jesse. Well, let's take a look at that weekly chart there. Weekly chart getting some strong moves towards the upside, is looking a little bit toppy, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. If we do see the whole market getting that move towards the upside, I do think that rate cut decision would be a pullback for the markets. I believe that might come in as a sell the news event, and that would really give you that dip down to watch for. That was on ADA BC. Oh, well, can take a look at that ADA chart here in a second. See what you're looking at there. We had H bar to take a look at as well. We took a look at that chart yesterday. And let's just zoom that on in from the weekly there. Take a look at that daily chart, because that daily chart did get up to that golden pocket that we were talking about, trying to break out above this trend line that we were watching here. MACD getting that curvature back towards the upside. Prime oscillator really starting on that curvature towards the upside there. And we're really waiting to see if that short-term time frame money flow can give us that continuation towards the upside. It does look like H bar could be breaking on out, but I would like to see that confirmation here on the shorter term time frame. So let's get that pulled up on the 15-minute real quick, see if we got that retest there. Oh, got that nice move off at 22 cents. Got that move off. We did say we wanted to see that golden pocket get tested and then continue on towards the upside there. So could definitely see H bar continuing towards the upside just a little bit, but we do have some resistance above us to kind of keep our eye on. So that resistance areas above us, let's get it zoomed back out. Take a look at that 4 hour there. So we do have a few resistance areas directly above us to kind of keep our eye on. That's coming in at about 24 cents. So let's get that horizontal ray drawn on out there. That's where we see some candle body closes, make it a little bit thicker. 24 at 22.8. That's that area of resistance to kind of watch for as we make our way out of that trend line there. So that's what we were looking for on H bar the other day. I did say potential for a long entry, and we are seeing a little bit of some toppiness there on the 4 hour, but it is looking a little bit nice for some continuation on the daily, to see a little bit of some pullback here on the higher term time frame to really get that solid retest would not be too unexpected. If you didn't get that entry, about 23.43 would be that golden pocket to kind of watch for a retest on here on the hourly. Lose that golden pocket, coming back and really retesting that trend line would be the next move to watch for a long. We'd get some nice consolidation at the end of that support line, resistance line, and then we're waiting to see if we can get above 24.22. That's cents there. So 24.22 is that area for some resistance on some H bar. H bar looking pretty nice. We did highlight that a while ago, and it is getting that break out above our resistance line. Really waiting to see it continue towards the upside there. ADA, let's take a quick look at ADA. Kelly asked for serve, so we can take a look at that on the stock side there. You did say you wanted to see a little bit of some pullback. 88 cents, looking like a little bit of a resistance area on some ADA. We did talk about that price point as well. Really need to get that 50% line as some strong support. But if we get that CPI data CPI data coming out favorably, could really see that continuation back up towards the 382 and 94 cents. That's that area. I think BC just said gigalong. I'm not saying gigalong. I am saying to see a little bit of some pullback and then continuation could be the move for H bar, but it does look like it could be breaking out of that trend line, and a nice swing long could be the move on some H bar. But shorter term time frame does look a little nice for some pullback there. So ADA getting some sideways momentum as it's breaking out above that zero line and indicator line here. So Jesse, ADA could see a little bit of some pullback. Would wait to see if we get that curvature here. Prime oscillator coming in a little bit sideways here. Really waiting to see if we can get some price holding on up at about, let's see where those candle bodies come in, about 86 cents. That'd be that nice sideways horizontal to watch for some bouncing action off of, as 88 cents is looking like a little bit of a resistance area. All right, let's get this zoomed on in from that daily term time frame. 4 hour also looking a little bit toppy here. But keep in mind that CPI data could give us that little bit of a blow off top above 88 cents, push us up to about 94 cents, and then we could get that pullback down. And if we get that pullback down, 88 cents would be that first price point to watch for, would negate all of that and kind of look back towards that 50% line, because these are the support levels on the short-term time frame we'd be looking for on price coming down if it rejects off of 88 cents. So 50% line would be that next price point. That's 82 cents. And then we do have an area directly below that at about 80 cents that we've gotten a lot of touches off of. It does look like it's a little bit under that 80.78 and is really coming in at about that 80 cent price point. We have Buck in the chat. Good morning, sir. We don't see you in here very often, but glad you made it bright and early. I know you're the same time frame as me, so 5:15 your time, getting prepped for some success bright and early, sir. We got that 4 hour looking a little bit toppy. MACD getting that curvature to the downside there. Prime oscillator getting a little bit of some curvature there, but could definitely continue on towards the upside with that CPI data coming out kind of nice this morning. Let's take a look at this hourly. The hourly's probably got some divergences. Yep, we got some divergences there as price made those very equal highs, and that prime oscillator cooling off just a little bit, so could get that continuation towards the upside if that CPI data comes out favorably. If not, looking back down to that 86 cent price point would be that move to watch for. Let's take a look at that 15-minute real quick, see what the morning's bringing our way here. 15-minute does look nice for some continued consolidation in this range. 88 cents being that resistance area, and we've got some nice price holding up at the bottom side of 88 cents. So very, very constricted price action here, retesting the highs from this last high after we got that before we got that push back up to 88 cents there. So that's that area to kind of watch for this morning. We are seeing a nice consolidated price action here. Got that liquidity grab, and now we're just trying to cool off some of these oscillators right now. American Bitcoin at the moment. Let's see. Anything else to kind of take a look at? Buck, that was that stock he said he was looking at. So let's hop on over, take a look at that stock that Kelly was asking for. She asked for Serve Robotics, and I've been loading up on Serve Robotics under this 382 here. Every single time we get pretty close to that 236 there, I do a little bit of some buying, and I am sitting a little bit up on my bags, but I do think on the longer term time frame that Serve looks quite interesting. Serve has a lot of business ventures that it has started on, has not yet delivered to Uber Eats on some robotic cars that would really take out the human element on delivering. They do have some testing to be done in Florida, so that's kind of what I've got my eye on, the delivery of these fully autonomous cars that deliver Uber Eats orders and would take out that human element, make Uber Eats an interesting company to also take a look at. So they've got a lot of positive cash flow. They can sit on their holdings and get all the way to the end of 2026 with their current holdings. So definitely don't need any cash flow to keep their company going. They have a lot of these orders already made, just waiting on some delivery on that. So did get some nice strong moves towards the upside, really holding that 236 quite nicely. We do have a strong area of resistance at about $12.88, and above that we have some resistance at that 50% line on our fib retracement, and that's that $14.53 price point. That's also a beginning of a CME gap as well. So that CME gap is our strong resistance area. And we are waiting to see if we can get back to it, as price has consolidated quite nicely here on this daily time frame. Would allow for some cool off on the weekly. Let's get that weekly pulled up real quick. As you can see, that weekly is looking nice and cooled off. MACD is getting that sideways momentum here. As we get this sideways momentum here on the price action, we are waiting to see money flow get back to some green here. Let's get that pulled on up real quick. As you could see, that money flow was sitting up very green here. Got that nice sell off here. Really waiting to get back above that zero line and see that positive cash flow on that higher term time frame. Let's get that zoomed on in. Take a look at the 4 hour here. 4 hour could see that continuing of the sideways momentum here. We are looking for some more areas to kind of load back in, and that's going to be the lows of this sideways range here. Anytime we approach that $9.30, I do some buying. So definitely just been loading up my bags on Serve Robotics. It is a decent company for some autonomous deliveries. I'm waiting for some more partnerships to come their way. A very good company that I've done pretty well on. I did get to ride some of this movement towards the upside, sold off, and then we were waiting for some dips. Got some loading up here, and I've been continuing to load up as we hold the 236 there. We do have that 1 hour. Also looking a little bit toppy, but really waiting to see how that inflation data comes out today. We do have that 15-minute looking a little bit bottomy here. So definitely just continuing in the sideways range on the higher term time frame, allow for a little more cool off on that weekly chart, and that could give us that move back towards the upside. Looking at $14.50 as that area of some resistance there. Let's see, we got any other requests in the chat? If not, I might end the show just a little bit early, and then I did want to take a look at gold, because we did see gold see a little bit of some toppiness coming on in. But if you've been listening to Piper, he said don't fade gold. Kind of the same mindset. That daily getting a little bit of some curvature here. You can see the toppiness there. That money flow kind of stagnating. MACD getting some sideways actions too. But that 1 week still looking nice for some continuation, as that MACD just broke above that indicator line. Seeing a little bit of toppiness on the prime oscillator, but that money flow staying nice and solidly green there. Volume is a little bit down, so definitely waiting to see some continuation. We've got Kelvin, are you long gold? I already took my profits. I did a little bit of a move off of down here, and then when we hit 3433, That was my exit point for TP1, and that next TP was at all-time high. So I like the moves of safety. I don't like to ride it on out into speculation. I didn't leave anything on the table. I took it all off the table at all-time highs. I'd been waiting and waiting and waiting for that move on gold, and we finally got it. And all-time highs, I don't want to be sitting in the trade when we're at those all-time highs. So I like to be out. I like to make my money and then just exit. I don't want to ride it on to the upside a whole lot further and risk anything. I like my safety, you know. I don't like to gamble too hard like some of the degens in the chat. We don't have JR in here, but that's King Degen. We got Buck in here, likes to play a little bit of some degen moves, but you know, I am the complete opposite way. BC, where do I put $1,000 to make $1,000 today? Well, you could play the futures market. That's about all I got there. You would have to have some a little bit of some high leverage, but you could definitely get some moves towards the upside off of something like Bitcoin and see those moves towards the upside here. We are targeting 116,850. So if we get that CPI print coming out under forecast, that'd be that big strong move towards the upside. If we don't have a CPI coming out favorably, 11,800, that move towards the downside. So very, very equal price points to kind of watch for either bottom side or upside. That'd be that big long or short to kind of watch for Bitcoin. That'd kind of be my move for today. 10,000 to make 1,000. Oh, a little bit better margins there. 10,000 to make 10,000. I mean, you could go to the casino, sir. That'd be that next put it all on black, you know. That'd be that next real big move. Or you can do like one of my other favorite YouTubers who I like to watch a lot of the time. He goes to the casinos and he plays a really crazy game where it's basically a 50-50 chance. He puts a lot of money down and he gets a lot of money back. But you could also do some like gambling in those altcoin markets. You know, we do have some potential. Something like H bar, if you do continue on towards the upside there. I don't know if you had seen that look at H bar. Let's get H bar pulled back up here. But H bar looking like it's breaking out of some long-term resistance. So that's that move I highlighted a while ago. But H bar getting that nice breakout. We got that nice little retest on the golden pocket. Would like to see that retest on the golden pocket on the higher term time frame though. That's that hourly move to kind of watch for. See that pullback towards our golden pocket and really continue on towards the upside there as it's looking a little bit toppy. If that inflation data comes out on forecast or a little bit hot, seeing that pullback towards the golden pocket would be the move to watch for. You can kind of see here on the higher term time frame really getting that breakout above our little trend line there. This is off of candle body closes. We do get the wick in action above it, but not really paying attention too much on that. Comes in at the candle bodies on the higher term time frame there. You can kind of see it better there. Getting that nice little candle body touches 1, 2, and 3. So getting a little bit of some breakout there. We do have some big upside targets on a swing, but if you're trying to make it in a day, that's not the way I move, so I wouldn't be able to really help you out there. Meme coin casino, yeah, meme coins, kind of, if you get that nice favorable CPI print, then memes ripping towards the upside, big moves to watch for. But that was about all I got for today. We do have that morning motivational video to head on over to in just a second. Let me get that screen switched on over. Make sure to tune in to the Piper Academy here at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll get the breakdown of our inflation and CPI data. That's that big catalyst for this morning. So be safe. we do have the potential to continue towards the upside. We do have the potential to get absolutely wrecked. So pay attention to that data drop this morning. Keep your stop losses tight because we could see some very, very wicking action, especially right before that news drop. Could get that nice strong false move, take out some trades, and then have some people jump in long. That if that gets that move towards the upside, come back down, take all those people out, and then continue on towards the upside. So play that safe. Data drops are not for everyone. So it's not a bad thing to be sitting on the sideline where we're going to get some heavy data drops. Data drops are normally my most profitable days. That's why we had a very profitable trade yesterday. I love trading data drops, but I also really focus on the macro. So data drop day is always my most profitable days, and that's kind of what we're looking for. A little bit of some upside if CPI comes out on forecast, or a little bit under, a big move towards the downside if that CPI inflation data comes out a little bit hot. So I don't think it affects rate cut decisions too much, as that PPI came out quite soft the other day. I do think we still get that rate cut, but the long term on that might be a profit taking area. We could still get that next leg towards the upside on Bitcoin, but seeing things kind of cool on off in the markets in general could be expected, because you have been seeing quite a few economists really talking about that. Bank of America, Chase Bank, a lot of big names talking about how a rate cut decision could really increase the recession vibes. Obi-Wan vibes there, says Caliphant, could increase those inflation pressures. Kind of messed me up on my whole train of thought. Could really increase those inflation pressures and send things to the downside, which is why you've seen people hedging with gold. That's why you've seen people playing those bond markets. They're looking for a little bit of safety, not on their entire bags, but for some of their bags. Buck, the PP in your eye was soft. Yeah, it was some very soft PPI data. So watch for that data drop this morning. That CPI could be a big catalyst on some downside movements or some strong continuation towards the upside. Data drops are not for everyone. Stick to the sidelines if you're not already in the trade. If you're already in a trade, maybe shoot for some safety, move your stop loss a little bit tight, so you don't get completely demolished. If you're in a trade the opposite direction, watching that trade a little bit closely so you don't get absolutely wrecked there. Anyone checking out Alex O today? Yeah, tune into Alex O Crypto. He will be trading during that data drop, so could hop along on a move with him. We got Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Another great place to be if you like trading and you're up later than I am. So until then, I will see you all at the next one, and I'll see you here tomorrow morning, bright and early. We got some more data drops heading our way tomorrow, and we're going to be prepared for all of that, because knowledge is profit. But until then, make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.